So the reality is I never thought about it, to be perfectly frank. I mean, I just kind of always did stuff on my own from the time I was a kid. So, and was always just little businesses making money here, doing this or doing that. So the thought of me actually like going and getting a job, I mean, actually during the whole time, actually was pre-med. I was going to go to med school and go to medical school. But I never really thought otherwise. I didn't know any different, I should say. When I was like in middle school, there was a candy store that opened up. And we all know about them today, but they were the novelty at the time. They were those fireballs, those hot cinnamon fireballs. And they may have existed for a long time, but they came to where I lived and no one ever seen them before. So I used to ride my bike to the store and buy a bag of them and sell them for a quarter. I think they cost like a nickel a piece, whatever. I bought a bag of 50 of them for $2.50 or whatever it was. And then I was also, I became a potter pretty early too. And so I would like make stuff and sell it. And then I got to the point where I was making it and selling it to stores and they would, sell them. And people would commission me to do stuff. And then when I was 16, I started a window washing company and started washing windows, right, in retail stores. So like strip centers, and like wash the windows every 2 weeks for, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how it started out.
Probably from the time I was about 12 years old. My brother, I have a younger brother who's about a year and a half younger than me, and we always were talking about business, starting a business, doing, with crazy ideas. I had a paper out. I had a commercial landscaping business when I was in college that I started with a friend of mine. Bought a dump truck, stuff like that. And then after I got out of college, I had a series of small kind of computer sales repair businesses so it's just always kind of wired that way, and always enjoyed and thought it would be fun to really be able to grow something on my own.
So it's funny, I feel like I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I mean, it started when I was a little girl and I started Back Massage Incorporated, BMI, and basically I would massage my dad's back and charge him 3 cents a minute, and I would go and generate invoices on my dot matrix computer. And he would pay me. And even as I got older and I babysat, I always kept track of how many hours, how much I made. I actually had books for my babysitting business. So I sort of turned everything into a business. And I knew when I was going to college, I knew from the time I was very small that I wanted to go to business school. There was no question in my mind that I was going to get a business degree and do something in business. I focused on marketing, and I always thought I would own my own business. And then I kind of fell into this situation where I had a wonderful, wonderful mentor in our founder, Marcy Brogan, and somehow never left. And really, if you told me 27, 28 years ago that I would have bought the business and now been a business owner or an owner of Brogan Partners, I would never have believed it. But I did always believe that I would own a business. So whatever that business looked like, I wasn't totally certain. And this one just happened to work out really, really well. And it's been amazing.
I had one job for somebody else when I was a kid at a restaurant, but I started in the bagel route business on Sunday mornings when I was 13 years old. Me and my brother bought bagels at the Sunday store and then repackaged them and delivered bagels and cream cheese and New York Times to people. I've been working for myself my whole life. So it's not like I was one moment where I said, and I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur or anything like that. I just started working. If I had to think of one event, we went from the bagel business to the parking lot striping business when we were probably 16 and 18 respectively. And we paid our way through college, striping the yellow and white and lines you see in parking lots and the blue handicaps. We did that through college and paid our way through college. And then If there was one pivotal moment, I got a really good job offer coming out of college to go to work for General Electric, which at that time was a really hot firm, like a Microsoft firm back when I was growing up, and moved to San Francisco. And it was a really prestigious job, and I turned it down and continued striping parking lots. And the career advisor actually called my parents to ask them if they knew that I had received the job and that what I was doing, because it was a prestigious opportunity. So if there was one moment, it was that moment, and I didn't want to wear a tie, and I said, screw it, and I striped parking lots.
Actually, back in high school and shortly after, always had the dream of creating my own business. I wasn't quite sure what it was. My background is I came from a small town in Northeast Iowa, went to a public high school, and then I kind of bounced around a little bit after high school. I took a semester at a local community college, came back and worked for about a year before I moved to Central Iowa, and then ended up taking some college courses in auto repair just because it was a hobby of mine. I didn't really anticipate it turning into a career at all. Fortunately, it was kind of in my wheelhouse. It was something I was fairly good at. I had a job before I graduated from college. It was part-time. I was at a local auto repair shop, and I quickly worked my way up through there. It wasn't too long after that I realized that a lot of these people in the early 40s were starting to just kind of fall apart. It's tough on the body. It's very rewarding. It's instant gratification to take something that's broken and then see it fixed in a few minutes. So I really enjoyed that part of it, but I also didn't want to be 50 years old and living with a lot of chronic illnesses. So I started taking some transitions into service advisor and some management roles, which were really completely different than working on cars, but still in the industry. So I appreciated that part of it, but I did see a lot of things that I thought I could be doing differently. And I really scrutinized, the places that I had worked and saw opportunities to create something on my own.
When I was in high school in ninth grade, my best friend and current business partner, Joel Perlman, and I started selling blow pop lollipops out of our lockers. And so I would say everything from the moment we thought we could actually do something like that to sourcing it, which happened to be from his uncle who owned a drugstore, and figuring out how much that he would sell them to us for, which was wholesale, 5 cents per blow pop, and buying them in a box at 100 a time. And then the idea of bringing them to school. Where would we sell them? When would we sell them? When we got the money, what would we do with it? We loved it. I loved it. And so now I only say this in reflection, because at the moment I didn't think of it this way, but upon reflection, I realized that was a defining moment for me. And I knew that I loved being an entrepreneur.
I've been in the car business since I was 15 years old, and always was fascinated by it. And I probably realized that this was my calling when I had my first success turning around at a struggling dealership when I was 19. So, and I just had the bug. And then from there, I built my first store in 1995. And the second one was I opened in 2005. And then from there, I just kept, I loved putting deals together and buying things and fixing them. And so that's really what I've been doing. And I'm about to close on my 15th location in 2 weeks in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's exciting. So I think I just realized I was entrepreneurial probably at a young age.
I did not know my whole life that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I went through kind of a family journey looking for care from my grandmother in late 2001, early 2002. And then I had been given the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, I'm really risk averse. I'm a CPA by background. So I didn't think about, you know, kind of starting a business. And then I read that book and something clicked as to, was it more risky to be at the whims of the next restructuring, right sizing, whatever the lingo of the day was, or to be in control of my own destiny when I had no problem working really hard? And so in the fall of 2002, having a passion for something that I loved, feeling like I could really make a difference, and having no problems working really hard, I started on that entrepreneurial journey. Within 6 months, I was probably unemployable. So I think I found my calling, but didn't realize it until I was kind of in it.
I kind of always have been. Our mother, I was the youngest of three, gave us a budget that we had to write. And I was 10 when I wrote my first one. So I wrote into my budget haircuts, and then asked, after getting my budget approved, if I could buy clippers to shave my head and still get that money. And my mom said yes. I think that was maybe not entrepreneur, but at least entrepreneurial. And then kind of ever since then, it's always been, I've liked to make money and do things, whether kind of the classic, whatever, selling stuff at the pool, or I was really into disc golf. So I at one point was swimming in these ponds to find all the wet frisbees that people had lost and selling those on eBay. It's kind of always been something. But in earnest, I guess, starting King of Pops in 2010, for me, my nudge was getting laid off. So whereas I always kind of thought about it and was always doing little side hustles, it took that nudge for me to actually commit full time, which I'm really grateful for.